But luckily enough, I've been through some experiences which were like, okay, building teams and whatnot. So I knew that at some point I would need to hire better, people that were better at me at some things, like, for example, dealing with clients, right? So we have an advertising agency, and I have my account management team that they cater to the clients, and they're people person, and they love it and they thrive on that, and they can really take it to the next level. They are way better than I am at dealing with clients. Then the next thing was the whole operation things and the whole like managing the team, because with a service-based business, the more you grow, the more your team grows, right? As well. So, you have these two growths.
I love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up, because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Dan Carden. And this week, I am super excited to interview this guy because I've been trying to get him on here for a while. He is Hernan Vasquez, and he is the founder and CEO of Scale Driven. And they help coaches and information businesses scale to 8 figures by making their ads work better. So Hernan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Anne. Hey, everyone. And thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Well, I am so excited to interview you because you've had some really great success in the short time that you've been in business, which normally I don't interview people that haven't maybe been in business for a very long time, but you were able to scale your business fairly quick. Do you want to just share a little bit about where you started, and then how you were able to, why you got into business for yourself, and then how you were able to do that?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in digital marketing now for probably close to 15 years. I started young, and then, last time, so I had my day job back in the day, right? But, I kind of grew up in a family where being your own boss and being independent, especially my dad, he was his own boss. He's an accountant, so he had his own study and his own like practice and whatnot. So I was, kind of following his steps, and I'm like, well, I want to do that, when I grow up. I really want to, kind of manage my time and have my own thing going on. My mom was the one that was working on a regular 9 to 5, but he would have a lot more freedom, right? So he would come to the school things that happen instead of my mom and whatnot. So anyways, long story short, I decided to go that route of entrepreneurship. I didn't know what I wanted to do back in the day, but I knew that it was going to be something related with the internet or with computers or something along those lines, right? And then, so I started diving into the digital marketing space a little bit. Back in the day, I left my day job because I wanted to pursue my entrepreneurial career. And then I was like, kind of, floating around for anywhere between, I want to say 4 to 6 months. I was just figuring things out. I was in forums, and I was in discussion groups and whatnot, trying to figure things out. And I came across this website called Fiverr.com.
Oh, we all know Fiverr. If we're in the online world, we do.
Yeah, totally. And this was like, I don't know, like probably like 11 years ago, 12 years ago. So, it's not the Fiverr that we know today. It was like Fiverr.com back in the day was like a lot more scrappy marketers trying to sell you stuff for $4, for $5, we would get $4 because Fiverr would take $1 out of the top. So, so I could write articles. So that's why I could write. So I started writing articles for people in Spanish and in English on that website. And I remember the first time somebody gave me money was on Fiverr. So I got, complete stranger on the internet gave me $4 whole, right? And I'm like, wow, this is real, right? That kind of changed my perspective on what was possible. So I started gaining some clients over there. I started doing content, and then people started asking me about SEO. So I went the SEO route. And then, and then going the SEO route. I met a lot of people, around the SEO realm because, okay, I was writing articles. Now people were saying, okay, can you SEO optimize it? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And long story short, I met a bunch of people in the SEO community, and we all had like our own clients, SEO clients going on and whatnot, and content clients. And what happened is that, we decided to put our brains together with these folks, and we launched our first information product, which was how we were doing SEO for our clients, right? And we were putting together an information product. So that was kind of my first product launch. This was like 6-7 years ago, maybe more. And what happened then is that with that product, we didn't sell much, to be honest. We launched it, nobody knew us, nobody knew who we were and whatnot. So I was like, okay, I want to go ahead and I want to kind of take reins on the promotion of this digital product that we had, this course. And I came across Facebook ads. So I started doing Facebook ads for that course, right? I came from SEO, then I went into Facebook ads, and then I started running ads for that course. And then we started generating leads, we started generating sales with Facebook ads. And once I tried and kind of, kind of went through the power of paid advertising, I never went back, So from there on out, I started like going really deep into Facebook ads and paid media and whatnot. I was lucky enough to work with some of the biggest names in the digital marketing industry, like people like Frank Kern and Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-David and Dean Graziosi and many others. And mostly was because of the fact that I developed that one skill set and I went deep into that, which was paid advertising on social, specifically on Facebook ads. And 4 years ago, I was always kind of behind the scenes, right? I was working for them, running ads for them, being their CMO and all of that. And then 4 years ago, I decided to launch my own digital marketing agency, basically doing what I've been doing, which is helping clients with their social media ads, specifically on the, for coaches, for people that sold information products, and for people that sold, high ticket coaching and whatnot. And here we are. So yeah, 4 years later, we're growing, and I'm super happy about it. So
that's amazing. So how many people, Hernan, do you have on your team? Because you built to 7 figures pretty quick, I think. When did you hit that last year? Did you tell me?
That was actually 2022. So we launched the first year we made close to 500,000, and then the second year in business we hit 7 figures, and we've been at 7 figures, growing that. Right now, I have 22 people in my team, 23 this week, we just hired a new account manager. So yeah, so the team is also growing as well.
That's great. So I would love to dive into a little bit. First of all, I love how you took what you were already doing, were already good at, had proven you were good at that, and decided to build your business around that. I see so many people that decide to go into entrepreneurship and they're trying to do something they've never done before. And then they also have to learn how to build the business and the financial side and the advertising side and all the things that go with it. So I love that you were already in the marketing space, so that made it easier. But I do love how you took what you already were exceptional at doing and then building a business. And by the way, you can see how fast that path is. I just want to point that out to the listeners, because that is how Hernan was able to hit 7 figures very quickly, because he was already doing it. He just wasn't doing it for himself. Let's talk about that shift, though. What difference did you see going from doing it for other people to then stepping into entrepreneurship and doing it for yourself? What were some of the biggest ahas for you? Some of the biggest, oh my gosh, what did I do? Some of those things that kind of came up as people start their business.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing question. And when I made the decision to go all in on my digital marketing agency, I did this really quick exercise, right? I sat down one day because I was like really stressed. I was making good money, but I was CMO for a couple companies. I still had my own like advertising clients, and I was, still involved in this original company that we launched an information product. So I was doing a lot of things. I had like 3 full-time jobs, and then I was burnt out. I was making good money, but I was really burnt out. I wasn't really happy. So I sat down and I kind of listed out all of the things that I was doing, right? And then I said, okay, well, how many hours on a week I'm dedicating to each of these things, and how much money am I making from all of these things, right?
Yes.
And then I added this third column, which was how fulfilled am I doing these things? And it turns out that the thing that I was dedicating the least amount of hours to, and it was paying me the most amount of money per hour, not the most amount of money total, but the most amount of money per hour. And it was
the thing you loved the most.
Exactly. And the thing that I loved the most was my agency, you know? So I kind of stepped away from everything else. I talked to my partners, I sold my shares there. And then I talked to the clients that I was kind of acting CMO, fractional CMO. And I, told them that I couldn't keep on helping them. And then I went all in my agency. So that changed from just being kind of behind the scenes to being the front singing voice of the front face of a business. And I think that I quickly realized that it would take me 10 times the amount of effort, to grow this. But I also quickly realized what I was good at and what I wasn't good at, right? So what things really thrilled me and filled me with energy and whatnot, and what things didn't. And because as you know, when you're launching a business with a small team, you're doing a little bit of everything, right? You're wearing many hats.
Right.
But luckily enough, I've been through some experiences which were building teams and whatnot. So I knew that at some point I would need to hire better, people that were better at me at some things, like for example, dealing with clients, right? So we have an advertising agency, and I have my account management team that they cater to the clients, and they're people person and they love it and they thrive on that, and they can really take it to the next level. They are way better than I am at dealing with clients. Then the next thing was the whole operation things and the whole managing the team, because with a service-based business, the more you grow, the more your team grows, right? As well. So, you have these two growths. It's okay, you have more clients, then you need to hire more people. So generally you need somebody to take care of the operations and the efficiencies and the communication with the team and whatnot. So last year, well, actually the year before, I hired a COO to come in and help me out with everything that had to do with operations. So you quickly realize what you're really good at versus what you're not good at. And I have adopted this this methodology of doubling down on your strengths rather than try to fix your weaknesses, right?
Yeah, I love it.
And doubling down on that, and then hiring people or putting together systems for those things that you're not really good at. And that has been a game changer for me and for the business.
I love it. So I have a couple questions here that I think listeners will want to know. First of all, what was your first hire? Was it an account manager to kind of take over the client side of it, and you still sort of stayed behind the scenes?
My first hire, that's a great question. My first hire was a media buyer, actually, which is the person behind the scenes, doing the ad buying for people. So that was my first hire. My first hire was cloning me on the actual fulfillment, because when I was, one of the issues that I had early in my career, mostly as a freelance or with a small team, is that I would go out there, I would get these clients, but then my bottleneck would be fulfilling these clients. So the minute that I was fulfilling those clients, I wasn't out there finding new clients. So I had to kind of step away from the fulfillment. So my first hire was a media buyer. My second hire was an account manager, which is interesting because I felt more confident on giving somebody else the reins of the advertising and the ads and the campaigns from a client versus the communication. On the communication side of things, I didn't feel that confident giving it to someone, right? Because people came through me, they bought from me, and they were used to just talking to me. So that was a process that I had to learn to let go of. But that was the second hire, was an account manager. And the third hire was a general admin person, kind of a virtual assistant / executive assistant for me, and and to handle the admin side of the business.
Yeah, that's great. Did you run paid ads to get your clients, or how did you bring your clients in? Because this is one of the problems as well, as people are trying to get their business going. They get clients, they get busy, like you said, then they can't market. How did you handle that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't think we really started advertising up until probably a year ago. So up to that point, we were able to build a 7-figure business just by organic reach, word of mouth,
just doing outreach
referrals
to people.
Yes. Yeah. But mostly here's the interesting part, is that I'm a big believer of putting out content that will solve your audience problems and let them come to you. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer of that. In fact, that's how I landed some of these gigs. Working with Frank Kern was okay, I was really helpful in his community. So they noticed that and they bring me on board as part of their team. Right. So I'm a big believer of that. I'm a big believer of putting out content that will solve your clients' problems and then let them come to you. So most of the clients that we've been getting up until a year ago have been strictly inbound leads that have been saying, hey, I watch your YouTube videos, I saw your posts on this or that the other community, I started following you online, I want to work with you. So that was the one way, so organic inbound leads. And then the other way was, through word of mouth. Like we do a good job for our clients, so they bring us referrals and whatnot. So we were able to scale to 7 figures just by doing that. And then as we wanted to scale faster, then we started launching some campaigns for ourselves.
Awesome. I love it. And if you didn't catch that, I want you to hear the gold in that. They did not start advertising right out of the gate and doing that, even though he was an expert and that's what his whole agency was around. What's the reason you didn't do that? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And
I'm answering, you're telling me all my questions are good at this point. So, hey, we're...
But that's really good because, here's what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs is that they have an idea, right? Mm-hmm. And it happens to me too. It's like, we wake up with an amazing idea. We think we're going to change the world and whatnot. And then we spend all of this time and money and effort building funnels and building all of these things. And then we go out there and try to advertise, right? The reality is that what I learned, and this is something that I learned working with some big names, is that they do the opposite. They have an idea and they put it out there to see if people really want it, right?
They validate it.
Yes. Yeah. So they send emails to their list, they post it on Instagram. I remember that we were working with Grant Cardone one day at his office in Aventura, Florida, and we were brainstorming a new offer for his business. And he was like, let me do this. And he went live on Instagram, right? He went live on Instagram and he started asking questions. Hey, do you guys like to do this? And would you guys like to do this? And then he asked for one of his marketing team to put together a Stripe link, right? To get some pre-sales coming in. So people were voting with their words, but they were also voting with their wallets. So he was like, okay, well, this is proven. Let's develop the whole thing, right? Let's develop the funnel and all that. So that kind of stuck with me. So we went out to the market. We realized that our messaging was on point, that our offer was on point, and then we started advertising, right? It's much easier, it's much faster to advertise something that's working versus try to figure it out with advertising dollars. Because what happens is, because you're gonna get burned, right? Yes. And you say, well, the ads don't work, but 9 times out of 10, it's not the ads, it's the offer, right? If you have a good offer, you can go there with regular ads and you can still make it work. So that's why I like that question.
Yeah. So good. And I think that's so important because I know you work with a lot of coaches and consultants, and this is a big thing. They think that the magic bullet is let's just run Facebook ads. Let's just do some advertising. And like you said, they really don't have the foundational pieces in place. They're not real clear on their audience. They're not real clear on their offers. Their offers aren't very compelling. All of their message is off, like all of those things. And so if you can't, I say this all the time, if you cannot get clients before advertising, you're not going to get clients with advertising. So you've got to do things in sequence. And a lot of people just don't do this. And then, of course, who gets blamed, Hernan? You do, right?
100%.
You get blamed.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's true.
But I'm sure that you're very selective about the clients that you take on so that isn't happening. And they do have proven you really do have to validate, and you really have to prove that what you're doing is going to work before you start throwing money at it, unless you want to throw it into the black hole of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's pocket.
Yeah, totally. And that happens a lot. And actually, so if a client comes with a validated idea, they're getting some clients, like that's what we always say. It's like, that's why we say, make your ads work better, because generally speaking, they might have already been running ads and they want to scale and whatnot. That's what we're really good at. Now, if somebody comes to us and they say, well, I've never run ads before and I'm just starting out, generally speaking, we tell them, no, you need to follow these steps first, right? Validate the idea and then come to us. We're not going to take your money unless we say we can run what we call a detective campaign. A detective campaign is going to be a campaign where we're going to figure out audiences, like who's responding to your message, right? On social media. We're going to figure out creatives, like we're going to figure out copy, images, videos that people are responding to, and we are going to figure out angles. Now, what generally happens, and even with proven offers, especially with people that haven't been running ads before, is that the first month or two of any campaign are all about collecting data, right? So it's rare that we have a campaign that takes off the bat, unless of course they're running ads and they come in to us for scaling purposes. But launching from scratch is something that it's really rare for an offer to really hit it off from the get-go. There's a lot of tweaking involved, and that's normal. That's completely normal. Like even the biggest names in the industry, they have these offers that they go nowhere. I'm willing to bet that they have more failed offers than winning ones. But once they have a winning offer, then they go out there to the marketplace, then they go out there to advertise and all of that. So yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, I love this. This is so good to be able to show people the sequence and the reality of running ads and hiring an agency and all of those things. So how important do you think, since you're in the running ad world, and I know that it is a magic bullet when you get it working, right? There's nothing like it to scale businesses. How do you feel? Do you feel it's important to like build your brand and do all of that, really elevate your brand and build brand awareness and all the things that you hear people talking about it? I talk about it, you talk, other people talk about it. How important is that if you're in the advertising world? Because I see that either people are doing this or they're doing this. Rarely are they doing both. So I would love to get your opinion.
Yeah, no, that's great. So I totally see what you're saying in terms of people are doing one thing or the other, right? You have the, oh, we're going to get you impressions, I'm going to get you eyeballs on your content, I'm going to get you this brand awareness thing. And then on the other hand, you have the hardcore direct response advertisers, which is like, no, we need to get you leads and whatnot. I think that there's a happy middle, and especially since we focused on coaches, consultants, experts, information businesses. If you think about it, selling something that's quote unquote expensive, a high ticket coaching program or a high ticket product from social media advertising, I think it's one of the hardest things to do. It's one of the hardest things to do, period. Because if you think about it, when your tooth hurts, you just go to the dentist, right? If you have a legal problem, you just go to a lawyer. If your car breaks down, you go to the mechanic. Like there's no mystery around it, right? But if you want to lose weight, there's like a million things that you could do, right? If you want to make your marriage work better, there's a ton of things that you could do. If you want to, grow your business, should you hire a business coach? You go watch YouTube videos. So I think that that's one of the hardest things to do. So the way that we kind of go about it is we build what we call branding campaigns around the expert, the singing voice and whatnot. And that we spend anywhere between 15 to 20% of their budget on those campaigns. Those campaigns, we still are focused on the direct response side of things, making each dollar accountable, right? Each dollar needs to bring $1 or more back and whatnot. So that's good. But anywhere between 15 to 20% of the total advertising budget, we dedicate it to what we call branding campaigns. And branding campaigns are simply, it's a fancy way of saying, okay, we're going to grab your best content, your best video content, generally videos that are anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes long. So they are quote unquote long for platforms like Facebook or Instagram and whatnot, right? For YouTube, that might be short, but for these platforms, they're longer. And we're going to just show those videos, which are helpful to your ideal audience. What that's going to do is a couple of things. The first one is, of course, going to get brand awareness. But then additionally to that, we can build audiences within the platform, custom audiences within the platform of people that consume 50% of those videos, 75% of those videos, 100% of those videos. So again, these are longer videos for a reason, because we want to see how engaged your audience is. And once we build a nice list within the platform, right, a nice audience within the platform, then we can show them more content, but we also show them call to actions like, hey, go see my webinar, go, sign up for my email list, go sign up for my challenge, go buy my book, right? And what we call the halo effect around these ads, it's pretty impressive because it increases lifetime value of customers, right? Because people are coming pre-engaged, right? Before they even land on your website. So that's the one thing. The other thing that happens is that it decreases the lead time or the sales time, right? Especially for high ticket coaches that are selling on the phone. Maybe people might stay on your funnel for a couple weeks to a couple months, right? Before they pull the trigger. But that helps with that process because again, people are consuming your content before coming in. And that allows us to scale kind of the organic reach that you get. You know that if you start getting cold leads throughout the funnel versus organic leads, organic leads are much easier to close and whatnot. So that's kind of where we find the happy middle between running at scale, running advertising campaigns and branding ads at the same time. And, these branding ads are harder to track because anything branding, it's harder to track the ROI and whatnot. But the thing that I can tell you is that they work better, like all of our clients' business and their marketing work better when we have them on versus when we don't have them on. So that for us is proof enough that these things work.
You're just warming up the audience. You're basically warming up the leads. And like you said, you're building that custom audience who's responding to this. So I love it. Well, you're definitely doing the right things from someone who's a strategist and has been doing marketing. I don't do the technical stuff like you do. I do the strategy and all that, but I can tell you he's spot on with everything that he's talking about, and that's why his agency has grown so fast. I love everything you've shared. So who are your best clients? If you were to put it out there, are you my perfect client? Who would that be for you?
Right now we're focusing on, again, coaches, consultants, experts, facilitators, people that, they're selling their knowledge, and they sell something that is high ticket. Generally speaking, again, on the phone, generally it's something that is quote unquote expensive, and they have a proven offer. They have a proven something that's already selling organically, and they want to scale. Generally speaking, we work with people that are already running a little bit of ads and we help them scale. We can also help them launch from scratch, but the main point is to have a proven offer and they're ready to scale through paid advertising. They see the potential that this offer could have and whatnot. Something that I want to say when it comes to that is that as you scale a coaching offer, right? As you scale a coaching offer, there's some additional things that come up sometimes when it comes to the client. Like, for example, you might start having what we call sales bottlenecks, especially if the expert is doing all of the sales calls. So you need to have in mind that as you get more leads, you might need to bring in people to help you sell, right? So that generates, another sales structure. And also some what we call operational bottlenecks, because you also need to fulfill on all of these people that are coming in. So as long as you're aware of these things that are coming in, then you should be in a good spot.
Yeah, you can't break your business because you start getting so many leads. Where do they need to be at financially, Hernan, in their business? What makes a good client from the financial standpoint?
Financial standpoint, we're noticing that clients that are making anywhere between $20,000 to $40,000 a month, that's a good starting point. That's a good starting point.
Right. Very good. This has been so great. I have absolutely loved hearing your strategy. And the thing I like about you is you're not arrogant. You're very down to earth. You're very personable. That's not the case with everyone out there doing what you're doing. So congrats on all of your success. And I wish you all the best. How can people get a hold of you? And we'll share all the links in the show notes, but just go ahead and give your call to action here.
Yeah, for sure. So scaledriven.com is the website. So there's a message there, scaledriven.com. And then Hernan Vasquez in all socials. We have a YouTube channel with a lot of content, but if you search for me on social media, you'll find me. So
yeah, you don't do any kind of I forgot to ask you this too. Do you do any kind of CMO services now with your agency?
Yes, that's included. That's included in all of the services that we add, because we like to take a look at the entire funnel. We don't just run ads for people. We have this fractional CMO approach, which is we'll help you take a look at the funnels, the email sequences, the conversion rates. We even take a look at the sales process as well. So yeah, this fractional CMO approach is what helps us and helps the clients also scale. So we can brainstorm offers, either more expensive offers or lower ticket offers to attract more buyers. So that's something that we do.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a great conversation. Thank you for being so open and honest about everything that you're doing. And again, I wish you all the best and continued success in your agency. So thank you, everyone, for being here for another episode of Expert in You. Make sure you like it, share it, and subscribe to the show. We are trying to get this show to the top 1% of podcasts. And we have a little bit of a climb there. So make sure that you share it. And I interview people like Hernan, and they give it away here. They give away their strategies, their value, their expertise. So just listening to the show, you can learn so much about what to do and even what not to do. So thank you again for being here. And I will talk to you all until next week. God bless you all. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this show, then I want to invite you to check out a free automated webinar where I show you how you can bring in ultra high fee clients for $25,000 to $125,000 or even more. I show you how you can do this maybe even in the next 7 to 60 days. So if you want to check out that free webinar, just go to expertinyouaccelerator.com and I'll see you on the inside. You have an amazing day, and until next time, God bless you. Go rock your business.